the first and foremost objective is to design the indoor lighting scheme, and the second one is the factors that are required for the lighting schemes, and third one is illumination level and important definitions regarding to the illumination level, and last but not the least, the different types of lamps that are available. Okay, so as I already mentioned you that the lamps, uh, we have residential, industrial as well as commercial, flood lighting, street lighting, so different types of lightings are there. So for all the purpose we cannot have same type of lamps, right? So you require different types of lamps for uh, applications based on the illumination level. Okay, so that is why you have to take care of the illumination level, and then by choosing the appropriate illumination level you have to choose the type of the lamp that are suitable for that application. Okay, as you know, while designing a good lighting scheme, so very first and foremost important point is adequate illumination. Okay, adequate is nothing but sufficient illumination. Okay, sufficient value of lux or lumen per meter. Okay, so it's illumination is nothing but lumen per meter square. Okay, so that lumen per meter square sufficient, it should be sufficient for the working place. Okay, that is the first point, it should provide adequate illumination. Second one, the light that is to be distributed must be uniform all over the working plane. Okay, so you should not have lighting only at one, focusing at only one particular area and the rest of the things are dark. Okay, it should not be like that. The lighting scheme which you are going to design should provide uniform distribution of light. Okay, third one, there should not be glare and shadows. Okay, so as I told you already, I mentioned you what is glare. Glare is nothing but the unwanted light. Okay, so some objects are uh, having more intensity of light, so that we just keep our eyes closed with hands. Okay, so that type of uh, lighting is called as glare, and which should be avoided, and also shadows. Okay, so if you are trying to sit opposite to the light it is okay, but below the light your shadow will fall on the on your object itself under which it is there. So that is why it should not have shadows, should avoid shadows as far as possible, and glare should be avoided. And the light that is going to be colors of light. Okay, so different colors, to nowadays you are seeing able to see different colors of light. Okay, decorative lights are there, so many decorative lights with different colors. So while designing the lighting scheme you should choose appropriate color. Okay, so that there will not be any problem for the vision. Okay, so these are the four things that you should keep in mind. Then comes the factors that are to be considered while designing the lighting scheme. So first and foremost factor is illumination level. Second one is quality of light. Okay, so here quality of light includes the amount of absorption. As I told you, there are depreciation factor, maintenance factor, absorption factor, utilization factor. Okay, so how much amount of light is emitted and how much amount is actually used. Okay, so that is very important while designing the quality of light. Then utilization factor or coefficient of utilization. Okay, depreciation factor and space height ratio. Okay, so now you have designed one lighting scheme, you have chosen suitable colors, you have chosen suitable, you have avoided glare, you have avoided shadows, all the things you have done. But if you are not considering what is the illumination level required over there, and what is the coefficient of utilization, and depreciation factor, space height ratio, what are all these? Okay, so depreciation factor, as you know, depreciation means diminishing value. So what is the diminishing value here? Diminishing value of lumens. Okay, space height ratio, if you take space height ratio, you are trying to put a lamp at a certain height. Okay, then you should take care whether that light which you are placing at some height, whether it is going to help the working plane or not. Okay, so you should choose in such a way that the space height should be properly designed. Okay, so all these factors has to be considered while designing lighting scheme. You cannot say that okay, I have designed one lighting scheme, I have kept it very top, but that light is not properly seen at the horizontal level. You should not say like that. Okay, so while you want to be a good engineer, so you should have take into consideration all these factors. Okay, then what is illumination level? I told you it is the very vital factor which decides the number of wattages for a luminary. Okay, so lumen per watt. So first of all, you should design whether we are going to install it for office work. So the recommendation illumination level is 100 to 400 lumen per meter square. Okay. So in general, for 1 meter square, the recommendation level is 100 to 400 in case of offices. Then in case of schools, it is between 250 to 400 lumens per meter square. Then for industry, it should be in the range of 1000 lumens per meter square. The minimum value that is required in industry is minimum value is 200 and above. It cannot be less than that for industry. And in case of shops, it is going to be in the range of 250 to 500 lumens per meter square. And in hotels, it should be in the range of 80 to 100 lumen per meter square. Okay, so these are the different illumination levels that are standardized over a period of time. Okay, so now these values are recommended. Uh, these are, you remember, these are only recommendations. You can change in the range depending on the area of construction of office or school or shop, hotel, etc. Hospitals, it should be in the range of 250 to 3500. Okay, so industry and hospitals, their illumination level will be much higher rather than the remaining things. Okay, so then comes some important definitions, as I already mentioned to you. So these important definitions come across lighting scheme. So based on the lighting scheme, these important definitions are there. So first and foremost is coefficient of utilization or utilization factor. So utilization factor is defined as the ratio of total lumens received on the working plane to the total lumen emitted by the light source. So total lumen emitted by the light source and the total lumen received by the working plane. Okay. So as already we know, the whatever the uh, amount of lumen that is generated by the source, all the lumen will not be received by the working plane. Okay. So some now the coefficient of utilization or utilization factor defines the ratio of total lumen that is received on the working plane to the total lumen emitted by the light source. So here again, here in case of utilization factor, the denominator will be greater than the numerator, hence the value will be always less than 1. So utilization factor is equal to lumens received on the working plane divided by lumens emitted by the lamp. Okay. So utilization factor is nothing but total lumens received by the working plane divided by total lumen emitted by the lamp. So what are the factors that affect the utilization factors? Okay, utilization factor is also affected by some of the factors like type of light fitting. Okay, so what type of light fitting you are using, then color, surface, and ceilings. Okay, so you are going to give different colors to different walls. Now and all, you can see so many decoration on the ceiling. Okay, so depending on the colors you are choosing for the surface walls, and also depending upon the type of ceiling you are choosing, this utilization factor will vary. Then mounting height of the lamp. Okay, so at which height compared to the working plane you are placing your lamp, and what is the area to be illuminated. Okay, so all these parameters will be affecting the utilization factor. Okay, so as I mentioned you that utilization factor cannot be greater than 1, so its value will be in the range of 0.4 to 0.6 for direct fittings, and 0.1 to 0.35 for indirect fittings. Okay, so these values are uh, mentioned in the standards of textbooks. So mostly these values are almost constant. So 0.4 to 0.6 for direct fittings, and 0.1 to 0.35 for indirect fittings. So utilization factor will be always less than 1. So these values will be asked in online exam, online questions. So make a note of these two values. For direct fittings it is 0.4 to 0.6, and for indirect fittings it is 0.1 to 0.35. Okay, another important definition, maintenance factor. Maintenance factor, you know what is maintenance? We are going to clean up. Suppose if you are asking, if you have a two-wheeler and if somebody is asking you to go for maintenance, then what you will do? Immediately you go for a workshop and give it for a cleaning of your bike. Okay, so maintenance factor is nothing but the ratio of illumination under normal working condition to illumination where everything is clean or new. Okay, so when everything is clean and new, initially when the building is very new, lightings, lamps are fitted, and just if you are trying to operate those lights and all, the building looks very smart, very attractive, and very pleasing. But if you live there for 2 3 months or 5 6 months and all, then automatically you will see uh, the building is not so attractive. Why? Because what happens is when everything is clean and new, the illumination is different, and when normal working condition, the illumination will be different. Okay, so maintenance factor states that the ratio of illumination under normal working condition to the ratio of illumination when everything is clean. So it's also when everything is clean, the denominator will be higher so than the normal working condition. So this value is also will be less than 1. So it is in the range of 0.6 to 0.8. Okay, so utilization factor is in the range of 0.4 to 0.6 for direct fitting, and 0.1 to 0.35 for indirect fitting. So here in case of maintenance factor, its value in the range of 0.6 to 0.8. Then one more important definition, absorption factor. So when absorption factor means, when suppose in the kitchen and all you will find this absorption factor. Okay, when some smoke uh, after cooking and all, while cooking you can see some smoke and all coming out of the vessels. So because of that they absorb some amount of light. Okay, so the ratio of net lumens available on working plane after absorption to the total lumen emitted by the lamp. Okay, so net lumen available on the working plane after absorption. In case of utilization, total lumen received by the working plane. Here it is total net lumen available on the working plane after absorption. Okay, there they have not considered the absorption things and all. Here we are taking absorption factor. So ratio of net lumen available on working plane after absorption to the ratio of total lumen emitted by the lamp. Here also the denominator will be higher. So when then there is a point of case that absorption factor, there may not be any absorption factor. Suppose if you are going to take the condition of non-kitchen rooms and all, okay, so there is no point of smoke coming in picture. So automatically that can pertain to unity. That means when there is no absorption, so now here we are taking absorption into consideration, right? So when there is no absorption, automatically the value will be, the numerator and denominator value can be same. So that is why absorption factor will be in the range of 0.5 to 1. Then comes the depreciation factor. So ratio of illumination when everything is clean or new to normal working condition. Okay, depreciation factor is nothing but opposite to that of maintenance factor. Okay, so in maintenance factor the reverse, ratio of illumination under normal working condition to ratio of illumination when everything is clean or new, that is your maintenance factor. In case of depreciation factor it is reverse, the ratio of illumination when everything is clean or new to the illumination under normal working condition. Okay, so that is why depreciation factor will be always greater than 1, because the numerator is higher here and the denominator will be always smaller. Nothing but depreciation factor, nothing but 1 by maintenance factor. And then comes the space height ratio. So space height ratio defines that the ratio of horizontal distance between the two lamps, two or more, okay, the ratio of horizontal distance between the lamps to the height of the lamps in a working plane. So ratio of spacing between the lamps to the mounting height of the lamps, so whose value also varies between 0.8 to 1.5. Okay, so space height ratio, depending, suppose it is going to be a square type of thing, then the space heighting is different. If it is going to be a rectangular type of structure, then the space heighting is different. Okay, so for duplex houses and all, the space height is different. So it depends on the construction, type of construction we are going. Okay, so that is why its value, space height ratio value, varies from 0.8 to 1.5. So depending on the type of the construction, depending on the availability of the land and construction. Okay, so this space height ratio will be judged. So this value will be in the range of 0.8 to 1.5. What is space height ratio? That is the space between the horizontal distance between the lamps, or space between the lamps, and compared with the mounting height of the lamp. Okay, and one more important is specific energy consumption. So how much amount of energy that is going to be consumed is called as specific energy consumption. So it is nothing but the ratio of power input of a light source to its luminous intensity. Okay, it is measured in watt by candela. Because why it is watt? Because it is electrical power, vi cos phi. You are taking generally cos phi unity, so vi, so nothing but watts. Then luminous intensity, unit of luminous intensity is candela, so it is measured in watt by candela. Specific energy consumption is equal to power input to a lamp divided by luminous intensity of the lamp. Okay, next, what is lamp? So here I am trying to show you some of the images of lamps. Mostly you will be seeing all the types of the lamps. Okay, so reading lamp, incandescent bulbs. Okay, some decorative lamps. So these are all different lamps. Okay, what is a lamp? Lamp is a replaceable one. Okay, lamp is a replaceable one which is having a base made up of either ceramic, metallic, or glass or plastic. Okay, so Thomas Alva Edison, in the 19th century, okay, so he was the main inventor for incandescent bulb. But lamps are there around more than 7000 BC. Okay, According to Wikipedia, lamps are existing more than 7,000 BC years. So, even in Indian history also, how a lamp lighting is created. Okay, they have written in Sanskrit. Okay, so those things are all available. But how to make them, how to utilize those components to create light was not clearly understood by many people in those days. Okay, next comes the, as I told you, lamp is a replaceable component which is designed to produce light from electricity. Okay, so these components usually have a base of made up of ceramic, glass, metallic, or plastic. The invention of the incandescent light bulb was made by Thomas Alva Edison in 19th century. So there are many types of lamps available: incandescent bulbs, sodium vapor bulbs, mercury vapor bulbs, neon lamps, etc. So many types of lamps are there. Okay. So coming to the lamp efficiency, it is defined as the visible radiations emitted by the lamp in lumen per watt. So it is the visible radiations that are emitted by a lamp in lumen per watt. We have already discussed this luminous efficiency or lamp efficiency. Okay. So here important point is the efficiency of fluorescent lamp is more than the tungsten lamp. In the olden days we used to have tungsten bulbs. So there later on we have seen fluorescent lamps. So the efficiency of fluorescent lamp is more than the tungsten bulbs. Okay. So what are the method of producing light? There are three methods of producing light. Okay, and the first and foremost method is by developing an arc between electrodes. But by developing an arc between electrodes, and second one is by passing a current through a filament, and third one is by electric discharge through vapor or gases. Okay, first one is by developing an arc between two electrodes, which is called as arc lamp. Second one is by passing a current through a filament, which is called as incandescent bulb, and the third one is by electric discharge through vapor or gases. Okay, sodium vapor lamps or mercury vapor lamps comes under this one. Okay, arc lamps, incandescent bulbs or incandescent lamps, and discharge lamps. In the discharge lamp we can see sodium vapor lamps, mercury vapor lamps, fluorescent lamps, and neon lamps. All these lamps comes under discharge lamps. Okay, so in very olden days you will find arc lamps, and then you see the incandescent lamps, and the latest is the discharge lamps, and even now discharge lamps are also going to be replaced with LEDs. Okay, so this is the uh, history and development of lamps. So lamps for different situations. Okay, as I already mentioned you, types of lamps in the objectives. There are different situations where different lamps are used. So first one is domestic lighting. So domestic lighting, such as a domestic lighting includes a house in which you can have dining hall, study room, bedroom, drawing room, toilets, veranda, etc. So we can use incandescent lamps, fluorescent lamps, uh, and CFL bulbs. Now, lastly, LED lamps are also well suited for domestic lighting. So this is taken as an image for to show you how domestic lighting will be. Okay. So here we have taken one common hall, staircase, everything we have shown here. So different bulbs, different types of bulbs, different setup of bulbs are also shown to you, so that the domestic lighting uh, will comprise of all these. Then for industrial lighting, so this diagram shows you the industrial lighting. Okay, so in case of industry, this is the industrial lighting diagram. So in case of industry, the same lamps uh, along with some other lamps are going to be used. Okay, so in to produce sufficient lighting in the industries, and quality of light is very very important. Okay, so for that purpose an illumination of at least 200 lux is required to obtain daylight in industries. So for that purpose we are going to use suitable lamps like fluorescent lamps, CFLs, mercury vapor lamps, sodium vapor lamps, etc. So these lamps should be mounted at sufficient height to provide uniform illumination without any glare. So in industry especially, the space height ratio comes into picture. Okay, so these lamps should be mounted at sufficient height to provide uniform illumination without any glare. Then comes the decoration lighting. In case of decoration lighting, this decorative lighting is used in tourist places uh, and Taj Mahal, Lord Venkateswara Swami Temple, Vrindavan Gardens. I don't know how many of you visited this Taj Mahal or Golden Temple, Vrindavan Gardens. Even I have visited only Taj Mahal and Vrindavan Gardens. Even I did not go for Golden Temple. Okay, so these are the different places where this decoration lighting is preferred. So for that purpose, we are going to use MV lamps. MV stands for mercury vapor lamps, sodium vapor lamps, SV lamps, then incandescent bulbs, fluorescent lamps, halogen bulbs. Okay, so uh, then we can see some series lamps, series decoration lamps, neon lamps. These are all used for this decoration purpose. So can you tell me what is this lighting? What type of lighting is this called? Can anybody say? Yeah, nobody is going to answer it. Okay, then I will show you one more image so that you may get into an idea. If we ask questions, students will leave the class. After this also you are not finding. Then with this, no, with this. What are all these? Have you not gone to any mall or any shopping mall and all? So these are nothing but the advertisement lighting. Okay. So all these images are showing for advertisement lighting. Okay, so the lamps that are required for advertisement lighting is different than the lamps that are used in industry, domestic, etc. Okay, so this type of lighting is especially used to attract public uh, to the malls inside and get some sales. Okay, so mostly jewelry shops, signboards, cosmetics, automobiles, public places, some domestic appliances, okay, big shopping malls, then cloth shops. Okay, so all these comes under this advertising lighting scheme. Okay, so especially you will be seeing these things, these boards and all, advertisement boards and all you will be seeing. Okay, so here all type of lamps are used along with reflectors for advertisement lighting. Then comes street lighting. Another important thing is street lighting. So the purpose of a street light is to promote road safety and convenience to pedestrians, vehicles, police supervision, and other purposes. So in case of traffic roads, the illumination must be high, and at shopping centers also the illumination must be high enough. This that is why you should take care. So while designing a street lighting scheme, because you will be seeing number of lights placing side by side on the road, And because of these lights, one illumination should not uh, the working plane, as we have informed already. So you should choose in such a way the distance between two lamps must be chosen in such a way that there is a continuous light on the straight. So mostly we'll be using mercury vapor lamps, sodium vapor lamps, and incandescent lamps in some rural areas and all will be used for street lighting. Then comes the flood lighting. Okay. So flood lighting is mostly used in open area of industry or some sports complex, some lighting gardens, then some ancient buildings. Okay, to enhance the beauty of the old monuments, such that people will be get attracted to the lighting. Okay, so flood lighting is used over there. So as I know you have seen flood lighting because all of you might be watching the cricket. So floodlights and all, you know. So mostly they will be using MV lamps, SV lamps, halogen bulbs with watertight reflectors. Okay, so they are because um, they will be present in sun and rain. Everything will be there. So they should have tight water reflectors. Okay. So nowadays this floodlighting is also they are using different types of in case of especially stadiums. Okay, they are using different type of LEDs for creation of the floodlighting so that this shadows and all will not be happening. Okay, glare and shadows will not be a problem. So that is the latest one which was in now Gujarat. So latest stadium of Narendra Modi uh, is made up of LED lamps only. Okay. So now we will see one problem on street lighting. So with that we will conclude today's class. So in a street lighting scheme, we are showing lamps of having luminous intensity. Luminous intensity I is 600 candela, and these lamps are hung at a height of 6 meter. Okay, these lamps are hung at a height of 6 meter, and the distance between two lamps is 8 meter. Find the illumination under the lamp and at center in between the two lamp posts. Okay, so two lamps are there, two street lamps are there. So both are at a height of 6 meter, and the horizontal distance between them is 8 meter, and each is having a luminous intensity of 600. Now given data I is equal to 600 candle power or candela, height is equal to 6 meter, distance d is equal to 8 meter, and what you require is illumination under the lamp and illumination at the center. Okay, so now here I have taken a diagram to show you that two lamps are there, lamp L1 and L2. Then the height is shown as 6 meter, and the horizontal distance between the two street lamps are shown as 8 meter. So from point A to lamp L1, point B to lamp L2, the height is 6 meters, and the distance between A and B, horizontal distance between A and B is 8 meter. So center I have mentioned as C, which is at 4 meter. Okay. So from lamp 1, uh, the distance to the center is D1 as mentioned, and from lamp L1 the distance from lamp L1 to point B is mentioned as D2. Okay, you can take the opposite also. D1 from L2 to C it is D1, and from L2 to A it is D2. Okay, you can choose anything, there is no problem here. So if you draw this diagram, then it will be easy for you to calculate the things. Okay, are you noting this diagram? shall I keep this diagram for a while or can I move forward? Okay. You know d1 is equal to root of 6 square plus 4 square, because the d1 is nothing but it is forming like a rectangle triangle. So hypotenuse square is equal to side square plus side square. So d1 square is equal to 6 square plus 4 square. So d1 is equal to root of 6 square plus 4 square. So which is getting you 7.2 meters, and the dt is equal to 6 square plus 8 square, because we are taking the total length between A and B. So it is 10 meters. So cos theta 1 is equal to h by d1 0.832, and the cos theta is equal to h by d2, it is 0.6. Okay. Then what we require illumination at the center. So illumination at C due to L1 is equal to I by d1 square into cos theta. So this is equal to 600 divided by 7.2 into 0.83. So this is 9.6 lux. And illumination at C due to L2 will be same as illumination E1. Okay. So total illumination at the center. Now from lamp L1 you will have one illumination. From lamp L2 we have another illumination. Both will be falling at the center, right? So that is why total illumination at center C is equal to 9.6 from E1, 9.6 from E2. So which is nothing but 19.6. Now illumination at B due to L1. So this is equal to 600 divided by 10 square into 0.6. So this is 3.6. So illumination at B due to L2. So its own height. So I by d square. There will be no cos theta because lamp L2 is uh, placed at the down part of the point is B. So L2 is at the top, lamp 2 is at the top, and B is the point where it is residing. So in illumination at B due to L2 is nothing but I by d square. So here we can call d as only h, no? So that is h here. So 6 square, 6 meter is the height. So I by d square. So this is equal to 16.6. So illumination at B due to L1 and L2. So due to L1, so that means from lamp 1 you are having 3.6 lux, and due to L2 you are having 16.6. So total illumination is 20.26.
హలో సార్.
Yeah.
సార్ అందరినీ అటెండ్ ఇచ్చారా సార్? ఎవరో రిమూవ్ చేసేస్తున్నారు సార్.
సార్ ఒకసారి
Your voice is breaking. Hello.
హలో సార్.
Tell me, man.
రిమూవ్ చేసేస్తున్నారు సార్ అలా మీటింగ్ నుంచి.
అందరూ మెసేజ్ చేస్తున్నారు సార్ రిమూవ్ చేసేస్తున్నారు అని చెప్పి.